The air in Montreal crackles with anticipation. The off-season, though seemingly quiet on the surface, hides a relentless churn of strategic maneuvering behind the scenes. Kent Hughes, the architect of this burgeoning dynasty, is far from finished. He surveys his kingdom, a treasure trove of valuable young players, intriguing prospects, and coveted assets, knowing that the right move, the next move, could elevate the Canadiens' offense to an entirely new dimension. The NHL trade market may be in its quieter phase, but in Montreal, the speculation burns bright, fueled by a general manager who isn't afraid to make a statement. Among the myriad possibilities being explored, one name consistently resurfaces, a target that speaks volumes about Hughes' ambition, a dynamic forward from the Columbus Blue Jackets. This isn't about shoring up the fourth line. This is about adding another offensive engine, a player capable of producing in a top six role, growing organically alongside the established core of Nick Suzuki, Cole Caulfield, Uri Slafkovsky, and Ivan Demidov. Sportsnet reported in June that the Canadiens were willing to pay a significant price for the right player, a clear signal that Hughes is actively hunting for high-end reinforcements. The player at the heart of this captivating narrative is Kirill Marchenko. This is a mere fan speculation or social media conjecture. According to Eric Engels of Sportsnet, league sources confirmed during the 2026 draft that Montreal made a strong, concerted push for the forward, expressing genuine interest in prying him away from Columbus. The deal didn't materialize then, but Marchenko's name has remained inextricably linked to the Canadiens throughout the summer, a tantalizing what if that refuses to fade. The reason for this persistent interest is strikingly clear. Marchenko embodies a rare combination of attributes that could profoundly impact Martin St. Louis's offensive scheme. He possesses ideal size, standing tall and strong, capable of winning puck battles and creating space. Crucially, he couples his physical presence with elite offensive skill and a natural finishing ability. These characteristics would add a different, much-needed dimension to Canadiens' attack, making them more versatile, more dangerous, and harder to defend. His production speaks for itself. During the 2025-26 season, the Russian forward delivered an impressive 27 goals and 40 assists in 76 games, accumulating a total of 67 points. This was another highly productive campaign, building on an even bigger year prior, when he recorded a remarkable 74 points. These numbers aren't just good, they're top-line production, the kind of output that transforms an offense. This consistent high-level performance is precisely why Columbus has shown absolutely no inclination to simply give him away for a modest package. They know what they have. For Montreal, the attraction extends far beyond individual statistics. Marchenko's age is a perfect fit for the Canadiens' carefully constructed competitive timeline. This isn't the acquisition of a veteran rental brought in to capitalize on a fleeting one-season window. This is an attempt to integrate another relatively young, high-impact forward into a core that is designed to compete for significant honors in the Eastern Conference for years to come. He would grow with Suzuki, Caulfield, Slafkovsky, and Demidov, forming a formidable offensive juggernaut that could dominate for the better part of a decade. His contract situation also presents an intriguing opportunity. Marchenko is currently under contract with Columbus through the end of the 2026-27 season, carrying a highly manageable $3.85 million cap hit. Upon its expiration, he is slated to become a restricted free agent. This means that the team controlling his rights would have a crucial opportunity to determine his long-term contractual future. For a club like Montreal, which meticulously plans not only for the immediate acquisition, but also for players' longevity within the project, this detail carries immense strategic weight. It offers control, stability, and the ability to secure a key piece for the long haul. The biggest hurdle, however, remains the price. Columbus knows it holds a valuable asset, a legitimate top-line forward, not a player who needs to be moved due to roster constraints or cap issues. The Blue Jackets are in a strong negotiating position. They can simply choose to keep him and work towards an extension. Therefore, if Kent Hughes returns to the negotiating table, it is reasonable to assume that any discussion will begin with a demand for significant assets. Montreal, fortunately, is uniquely positioned in this regard. Hughes has meticulously accumulated one of the league's deepest pools of prospects and young defensemen, assets that are highly coveted by other organizations. He has publicly acknowledged receiving calls about his prospects and has stated his willingness to trade them for the right return. This is where names like Arber Shakaj and Zachary Bolduc become critical in the speculative landscape. Both remain in contractual situations that could provide the Canadiens with flexibility, and the possibility of Montreal leveraging young players in a trade cannot be dismissed. This doesn't imply that either player is specifically included in an offer for Marchenko. It simply underscores the fact that Hughes possesses a diverse array of alternatives for constructing a compelling trade package without necessarily dismantling the club's main core. He has options, and that is a powerful negotiating tool. The situation, however, is far from straightforward. Following initial reports of Montreal's attempt to acquire Marchenko, conflicting versions emerge regarding Columbus's willingness to trade him. Don Waddell, the Blue Jackets general manager, publicly indicated his expectation that Marchenko would be on the roster when the season. And later, reports also surfaced suggesting that discussions about potential trade were indeed taking place, while representatives connected to the player downplayed some of the speculation. In essence, there is confirmed interest from Montreal, but there is no definitive confirmation that Columbus is actively negotiating the player with the Canadiens at this very moment. This distinction is paramount. Stating that Marchenko is on Montreal's radar is one thing. Claiming that a trade is imminent or close to being completed is an entirely different proposition. So far, what can be unequivocally supported is that the Canadiens genuinely attempted to acquire the forward at the draft, and his name continued to circulate on the market afterward. Everything else hinges largely on the position Columbus ultimately decides to take over coming weeks. From a pure hockey standpoint, however, it is easy to understand why Hughes could remain persistent. An offensive lineup where Montreal can strategically deploy Suzuki, Caulfield, Slavkovsky, Demidov, and Marchenko across its top two lines would possess an incredibly intriguing and potent scoring potential. Instead of relying too heavily on a single unit to produce, Martin St. Louis would gain the flexibility to create multiple combinations, each capable of putting relentless pressure on opponents throughout virtually the entire game. This kind of offensive depth is a nightmare for opposing coaches. Marchenko would also provide something invaluable in the crucible of playoff games. A big, strong forward who does not rely exclusively on open ice to produce. As the season progresses into the playoffs, the ice inevitably shrinks. Space becomes a premium, and goals become harder to come by. Having players capable of protecting the puck, driving to dangerous areas, and finishing quickly in tight spaces significantly increases the offensive possibilities for a young team like Montreal. He is a playoff-style player built for the grind. There is also a crucial strategic factor at play. The Canadiens are not in a position where they need to make a desperate trade. Hughes has made it abundantly clear that he is willing to use significant assets, but only when he believes a return is appropriate and aligns with the team's long-term vision. This firm stance gives Montreal the powerful ability to wait. If Columbus demands an excessive, unreasonable price, the club can simply pivot and pursue another target. Conversely, if the market dynamics shift and the Blue Jackets become more willing to negotiate, the Canadiens possess enough compelling pieces to quickly re-engage in talks. The most compelling aspect of this entire situation is precisely this. Montreal has already demonstrated that it is not afraid to pursue major, impactful moves. The current management group has been meticulously building the roster gradually, but they have reached a stage where endlessly accumulating draft picks and prospects is no longer sufficient. At some point, a portion of that valuable capital needs to be judiciously transformed into proven players who are ready to help the team compete for the ultimate prize, the Stanley Cup. Marchenko represents exactly that type of opportunity. He is not a player nearing the twilight of his career. He would not simply be a depth acquisition, and he has a proven track record producing offensively at the NHL level. The primary risks lie in Columbus's eventual asking price and the subsequent negotiations for his future contract. The potential reward, however, would be the addition of another dynamic, top-six forward to Canadiens attack, a player who is entering the prime years of his career and could be a cornerstone for years to come. For now, the Blue Jackets remain in control of the situation, and there is no guarantee that a trade will ultimately happen. But among all the names connected to Montreal this summer, few have as concrete a connection, as tangible a history of interest as Kirill Marchenko. The Canadiens already knocked on the door once. If that door opens again before training camp, or even during the first few months of the season, it would not be surprising in the slightest to see Kent Hughes once again trying to determine what price would finally be necessary to walk through it and bring this pivotal piece to Montreal. So, Canadiens Nation, what is your take on this high-stakes pursuit? Do you believe Kirill Marchenko is the missing piece, the offensive catalyst that could truly elevate our young core to contender status? Would you be willing to part with significant assets, prospects, draft picks, even young NHLers, to acquire a player his caliber and fit? Or do you think the price will be too steep, the risk too great, and that Kent Hughes should continue to exercise patience? This is a defining moment for our offense. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want to stay on top of every strategic play, every trade rumor, and every move that shapes the future of our beloved Montreal Canadiens, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel. The pursuit of greatness is relentless, and every decision counts.